everybody. It's Thursday. I'm Andrew Dowd. Time for our Happening in the Hamptons podcast, our weekly breakdown of the Hamptons market, new listings, and events on the East End. We are sponsored today by New York Title Abstract, the Hamptons' leading title insurance firm. Visit newyorktitle.com. Now that we got the intros out of the way, let's talk about the fact that this is our first live podcast. We are streaming on Paramount's Instagram. We have Pete and Steven from Paramount Development Group joining us at their beautiful exclusive 7 Lee Lane here in Waynescott. I'm Andrew Dowd. That's Dave Rotiner. That's Steve Glick. And the man on the end is going to sell this house. That's Vincent Horcasitas, the hardest working broker in the Hamptons. How is everybody?
Doing great.
Doing good. Glad to be here.
We just got so we're doing the first live episode, which is cool. Working through a couple technical difficulties, so we're going to be sharing some mics while we get that ironed out. But let's talk about this house. This house is stunning. New construction. Again, 7 Lee Lane here in Waynescott. The house pretty much has it all, but I'll let you guys describe to us what it is that you have to offer with this beautiful new exclusive.
Yeah, so basically you're situated on a little over an acre over here. 7,000 plus square foot house on 3 floors.
Nice.
And it's just loaded with amenities. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is it has traditional aesthetic in a sense, but it has that modern twist inside and out, giving you a full transitional feel. And I think Vince can speak to this as well, but I feel like that's where the market is trending. There's not a tremendous amount of new construction that is traditional. It still does exist, and it'll always have its place in the Hamptons. But, you know, we wanted to bring something that was a breath of fresh air to the marketplace, and I think we've executed on all levels here.
I guess you say transitional because it has like a bit of a traditional feel, but you have big windows, sliding glass doors, the front of the house, which obviously we can't see from the live stream here, but you have like this kind of wall of windows up front, beautiful floating staircase. I guess that's what kind of blends that modern with the more traditional feel. For sure,
because you have traditional head nods to typical roof lines that you would see out here, but also that blended twist with the large storefront windows that were custom fabricated for this house specifically. What's beautiful about it is it immerses the interior of the home with the exterior of the home, where you could actually stand in those alcove windows and feel like you're part of the environment around you here. And we really took a major attempt at creating a beautiful landscape that you could appreciate from all angles of this home.
That's great. Vince, you represent this beautiful listing and a couple others that we'll get to, but what do you like about this place?
You know, I love the industrial windows. When we were thinking about buying this property, we were talking about a property that was near here that had these windows, and I loved them in the house that was here. So we brought these industrial windows that go floor to ceiling in the bedrooms that are upstairs. So that's really special. Everybody really is excited about that. But, you know, it's a 7-bedroom, 7-bath, 1/2 bath. The primary suite upstairs is beautiful. Has floor-to-ceiling porcelain, radiant heated floors, floating vanities. It's a double vanity with a floating tub that's there. It's just very special. It's 1.3 acres here, and it really kind of checks off all the boxes. South of the highway, where you're close to villages, but you're also close to the beach. And Gary Ciuffo did the cabinetry in here in the kitchen, and I love the Italian high glass cabinetry that's done, and those are in the vanities, and also he did the laundry room that way. So it just, goes outside with a 20 by 40 gunite pool. It just has the latest modern design, but it's not so much about that. It's really about Paramount. What separates them from the pack, in my opinion, is, they've built, first of all, 1,500 homes. 1,500 homes, yeah. And it starts with the lumber that they use. They use a kiln dry lumber that doesn't have a lot of water in it, has no moisture in it. So it's really what's behind the walls. If you feel the paint job here, it's like a baby's butt. It's so smooth. and when I take people through the houses, I get very excited about it. You always have a vestibule before you go into the bedrooms, and you have 8-foot doors throughout, 10-foot ceilings, linear fireplaces. It just it brings the modern, a lot of light in here. You could turn the lights off and have a lot of light, but it's just really about the team and what they bring to it. When it's not it's run very organized is I guess the word I want to use.
Yeah. Dad, the one thing I love about this house, what Vince just touched on, is the natural light coming in. You get it from the glass doors coming in. Also from the back here, as you all could see here, just so much natural light coming into this house. And the other thing I like best about it is the outdoor kitchen. Like when you look at the entertainment spaces outside and these doors just open up, it just brings that flow through the house. Coming through the front door, out through the back, plenty of entertaining spaces. You have a beautiful outdoor kitchen. And this is a great house, very private, and
they bring in the landscaping instead of doing some. A lot of times builders at the end of a job really kind of skimp out on on the landscaping. When you come to these jobs, you look at the landscaping. These are 16-foot green giants surrounding this property. So you just you're enclosed in here in your own little private world. It's special.
Totally finished product.
Yeah.
How do you guys come up with the? Do you look at the lot that you're purchasing and then say, okay, now we know where we want to build, and then decide what you're going to build, or is there kind of like a sheet of houses that you choose from, or is it all just custom based on the location?
Yeah, so we have a process. So when we acquire a lot, Vince brings us a lot, or we find a lot. We definitely trust in Vince, what he knows, because he's a professional in this space and one of the leading in the industry for a reason. So what we do is we like to sit down and really see what's in the area, see the local comps, see what our not competitors, but our competitors may be doing, and then put a Paramount twist on it, and come to the market like that.
To that point, talking about this Paramount twist, we have the Saunders, the brokerage has 2 other exclusives with you currently. We've sold a number of them, but the 2 that are also on the market, in addition to 7 Lee Lane, is 5 White Oak and 1665. Sorry, 165.
165.
North Main Street in East Hampton. All beautiful builds, all Paramount houses, but they all have a different feel, a different look, you know what I mean? And honestly, a different price point. So it's like, you might want that Paramount quality in a different location, and you can get it for, this is 8.8. There's 5 White Oaks 4.9. The one in East Hampton's 4.45. Am I getting that right?
4.595.
4.595. See, Vince he's the representative, but
aesthetically, they're all different.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, they're all different. They're all beautiful houses, but that's kind of the point I'm getting
But
at.
what can you find?
So what drives the aesthetic is really, like you said, when we acquire a property, we do our due diligence with Vince. We do our own market research as well. And we don't want to build something that's distasteful to the neighborhood.
Right.
So in an instance like 165 North Main Street, that's a very traditional-esque home, but it's conducive to that neighborhood. It gives you it's walking distance to East Hampton Village, and it has that traditional village aesthetic over there. And then when you come to a spot like 7 Lee Lane, this is off the beaten path. It's its own little enclave back here created by the privacy that we brought in here. And then you have 5 White Oak, which is another transitional feel, but it gives a head nod to the traditional aesthetic within the neighborhood, but again, a transitional twist on it. And so that's how really our process works. We look at a property, we do look at past homes we do have in our portfolio, but we always like to come with something different. We don't want to be stagnant and be remembered for the same house over and over and over on repeat. So we always try and put our own twist on every house that we do.
Pete, what can you find similar in all 3 homes? There's got to be some Paramount custom thing that you could say, you know what, if you look here, you'll notice we keep the same type of theme or something throughout.
There's one answer to that, because I think each house is like a snowflake. They're all different in their own regard. But one thing that's synonymous with Paramount and what's across the board, and it doesn't matter what price point home we're doing, it's the quality of the home.
There you go.
And
Love it.
It goes back to what Vince is saying. It's not the pretty paint job. It's not the tile. It's not the custom kitchen. It's the actual foundation, the structure of the home. So, a client purchases this home 5 years later, they're not chasing their tail looking at stress cracks and this is settling because we didn't acclimate the house properly or we use subpar materials behind all the substrates.
Okay.
And that's what's really important to us. We like to build legacy pieces.
Can I just tell you something? Here's the story. We didn't talk about this before we started the podcast, but I went to shoot 5 White Oak for the listing yesterday or Tuesday. And there was a gentleman that works for you guys. He was there. I guess he is a property manager of some type. I just introduced myself. I said, I'm here to shoot the property. And we got to talking, and he says, I've worked for Paramount for, I think he said 5 years. He goes, in that time, I've never been called back to a property for an imperfection or to fix anything that became problematic. Like, there's not like a crack in the wall, not something wrong with the ceiling, not a wall bowed out. He goes, the floor isn't separating. Like anything that might happen with a house over time, he goes, in my time with Paramount, I have not been called back by a homeowner to try to fix anything.
Yeah.
And he goes, I think that speaks to the quality.
Yeah, you know what we like to do is we like to make sure that we take that extra step and make sure that we really focus on the quality. And even if it takes us a couple extra days where we're a little bit slower than the next guy, we make sure that we're on top of it and the quality is to par, because it's the way that me and my brother were raised, from little kids to grown men in the business. So we like to not only build a beautiful quality house, but leave our name.
I just thought you guys would appreciate that somebody that works
absolutely.
for Paramount is
awesome.
is so happy to be part of such a good quality product. And I think that is indicative of what the customers will get over time, even after making the purchase.
I just want to say, like our company is a very family-oriented company. So everybody who works for us has been here for 5 years plus. Some guys 16 years plus. Me and my brother have been sweeping the floor since as long as I could remember. So everybody is very passionate about it, just as passionate, if not some more than others. And that's what a Paramount home is. It's more than just a guy could go build a home. Anybody could build a home, but to make a home special, you really need special people involved, and I think that's what we have. So that's awesome you said that too.
That's a good.
Well said.
That's a good. Yeah, it's a good point to transition on. Let me send it over to Steve. Let's take a look at the numbers, big picture for the market.
The market,
as far as real estate.
All right, so here we are. This is the last week in May. 22 listings went into contract from West Hampton to Montauk. Last year, there were 27 listings, so a small decrease there of 19%. But 2 years ago, in 2023, there were 14 listings, so that is an increase of 57%. The breakdown of the 22 transactions, there was one over 20 million, one between 15 and 20 million, two between 5 and 10 million, 7 between 3 and 5 million, 3 between 2 and 3 million, 6 between 1 and 2 million, and 2 under $1 million. The dollar volume this past week was 100 million, and last year was 64 million. So even though we saw a decrease in the listings going into contract year over year, the dollar volume increased by 56%. 2 years ago, the dollar volume was only 38 million, so that's a huge increase of 163%. But the theme that happens every single week now for the past 3 months is new listings coming onto the market. There were 31 new listings that came on, so it increases the inventory by 9 listings. And the breakdown of the 31 new listings, 1 between 10 and 15 million, 5 between 5 and 10 million, 8 between 3 and 5 million, 7 between 2 and 3 million, 6 between 1 and 2 million, and 4 under $1 million. Inventory stands at 1,953 total listings, 1,513 active, and 440 in contract. So a healthy week that we're seeing pluses, 20s going into contract, and very good to see new inventory coming on, over 30 listings coming on.
Vince, before we get into what's going on this weekend, I just want to give you a chance to also talk a little bit about 5 White Oak and North Main, and just working with Paramount, because you guys have been together for a long time. I've been with the company almost 9 years, and I can't remember you guys not being part of what we're doing here. So, so just talk to us a little bit about those listings. Obviously, we've touched on Lee Lane quite a bit, but what do you got for us?
I remember starting with them. I think it was like 12 or 15 years ago, I think now. And their first project they did out here was a huge success. And we had about 7 or 8 really good south of the highway, Bridgehampton, Sagaponack, Watermill properties that were all big successes. And 165 North Main is a super special property. It's 6 bedrooms, 5 baths, and 1 half bath, and it has a primary suite on the second floor that has a sitting room and has a refrigerator up there, some custom cabinetry in there. I love the closet space in the room. It has 3 closets in the room, radiant heated floors, double vanity in there. It's beautiful to see. The craftsmanship is amazing. The property's amazing. What's special about the property is it's 3/4 of an acre. Walk into village. You can walk into town. Am I allowed to say that?
Sure.
Okay. Well, you can walk into town from there.
Very
it's
close to
like a
town.
block. It's like a block
Very
away,
close.
2 blocks away, and it has 100% clearing on it, so it's like its own oasis. It has a gate to it, and I just really like the property. And all the pools here, by the way, are 20 by 40 gunite pools that are saltwater heated. But that's, at 4.595, I put that up against any property out there for new construction. So, I don't expect it to be on the market too much longer, having a lot of showings there. 5 White Oak is on a full acre, again, 100% clearable property. It's just under 5,000 square feet with 7 bedrooms, 5 baths, and 1 half bath. What do we have? 4 bedrooms upstairs with the primary suite up there, vaulted ceilings, marble floors, double vanity, soaking tub, a lot of infinity, no thresholds on the bathrooms, so you have that infinity drain that's a little harder to engineer. That's a great,
very
just
cool feature.
just kind of seamlessly walk in there. Great properties. That's priced at $4,995,000, and great neighborhood, quiet. I opened it up the other day for somebody, and I was waiting. I sat out on the back deck and just sitting there hearing the birds chirp, and it's just super special.
And they're moving ready.
Yeah, moving ready to go.
Sign the papers.
If you haven't seen them, we have open houses on all 3 properties this weekend, and come out and see them.
And that's perfect. So if you're coming out to check out those houses, David, what else should they do?
Yeah.
And you can have the mic now. You can borrow Steve's. All right, there you go.
Well, but I just wanted to mention at 165 North Main, the thing that I love is that long driveway. It makes you
you
feel
sit
so
way
powerful.
back and it's nice.
Yeah, and you're just cruise on up and you're just like,
Welcome
oh
to my castle.
God. And then it's like, to Vince's point, it's so private over there,
But still so close to the village.
Yeah, it's
hard
like
to
weird.
find,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, anyway, so this weekend in the Hamptons, what is going on? Do you guys know who Chance the Rapper is?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Do you?
I do.
I don't really know who he is. You all got excited
Dave,
when I said it.
look, I rely on you for keeping me.
Well,
tell me what's cool and what's happening.
Well, that's not good, Andrew. That's not a good thing. So Chance the Rapper, he's going to be at the Surf Lodge, which means he's probably really good. He's going to be there Saturday. He's going to start at 4 o'clock, but most likely 4 p.m. But most likely that means he's going to go until 4 a.m. because it's at the Surf Lodge. I have not been there in a long time, but I've seen videos and it looks like a good time. I got to get there. And then the second thing, if you're in the mood for like a more really Hampton-centric event, this is a well-known event. It's called the All Against Abuse Benefit. That's also Saturday starting at 6:30. This is a great charity. It's going to be at the Southampton Arts Center, and it includes music and food and fancy people and all that. So, you got to go to that. So that you can buy tickets at allagainstabuse.org. And then my third pick is actually in your town, Andrew Dowd in Hampton Bays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Gypsy Kings are going to be playing Sunday at the Canoe Place Inn in the Hampton Bays.
I like Canoe Place. Yeah.
And the Gypsy Kings, they're a very popular Latin band.
Okay.
They start at 8 p.m., so that should be pretty cool.
8 p.m. Should I tell you that I was in bed like 9 o'clock last night?
Well, that's normal.
Okay, fine.
That's when I go to bed, too.
All right.
So those are my 3 picks. And then in terms of restaurants, I would say, again, Hampton Bays. We had lunch at Cowfish yesterday. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, good location.
It was
Good food.
unbelievable. Yeah, they were pushing the martinis on us. We said no, but it was really good. And then what we always like to ask the guests is, what your favorite restaurants are, what your favorite spots are in the Hamptons.
I don't know. Do you guys even relax? You're always going, but like if you have time to chill out, where are you going?
So my current favorite right now for the summertime is La Bibliothèque in Sag Harbor.
Okay. Yep.
That's one of my
Fancy.
favorite spots to be on a Saturday
Fancy.
night.
All right.
So if anybody's in the area, 6:30 every Saturday night, that's where you'll find me.
Stop, say hi, buy a house.
Yeah, I'll be there as well. But I would say, we had this conversation the last time we were on the podcast. You had asked
But did you
us-
say Bilbo-K last time?
I
don't
said
think so.
I had at that time I had said Bobby Vans, but I think I would retract my statement. Not that Bobby Vans isn't great,
Yeah, it's
but
good staple though.
I went there for the first time in a while the other day. Candy Kitchen.
Candy Kitchen.
Yeah.
That is a first.
It's down, it's dirty, it's great food. You're in, you're out. They
The
treat you like
milkshakes are
family
good.
when you're in there.
That was my first job. I was 13 and I was a busboy at Candy Kitchen.
I'm glad I was able to bring a little
I
nostalgia.
think Gus still owns it. I think Gus is still.
does.
When I go there, I get like a little nervous when
Well,
I see
that's
Gus. I'm like, oh, there's
that's
my
the
boss.
magic of the place. Every time you go in there, you see him, he greets
Yeah.
you, and like I
Yeah.
said, you feel like family when you're in there, and you get a Great meal.
So if you want a pro tip for the Candy Kitchen.
Okay, I'm listening.
So
Bring cash.
I used to do this. I used to do this all the time. I haven't done this in a long time. You get a vanilla milkshake, and then you ask them to put the coffee grinds in the vanilla milkshake.
You're an animal. You're an
Are
animal.
you serious?
Yeah, I would do this all the time. I'd be like,
What kind of
I'd be like
caffeine
really
mix do
kidding.
you
And I
eat?
would be like
All right.
so charged up. So
He
yeah,
needed
and
it.
it tastes great, and you get like a charge from the
You were,
from the coffee.
you were
grind.
probably flying through your shift on
Yeah,
that.
and I was
that
like
cocktail.
14 doing that. Explains my caffeine addiction today.
That's crazy.
That has not ended.
That's a
Yeah.
good pick. My wife worked there when she was in high school. She was a waitress there, and then we got after we got married, because we got married at the church across the street. We got
Okay.
like pictures taken in Candy Kitchen and everything. So that's a good place. I like that. All right. Anything else before we wrap it up? I think this was a success. Honestly, I like this on location thing.
Yeah, it's
Listen,
fun to do it
I'm
live.
not I'm not generally a podcast guy, especially behind the lens, but I think it was pretty
Hey,
successful.
you guys do good every
think,
time you come on.
I felt good about it. I think the only other thing that I'd like to touch on briefly, and I think Vince would probably want to embellish on it a little bit, is we've just broken ground on 136 Trelawney and Bridgehampton.
Oh, nice. Okay.
In addition to 84 Wainscott Hollow and Wainscott. So those are going to be two major properties that we're going to be offering to the market for spring of 26.
So you guys just keep
Wow.
going.
We don't stop, man.
That's awesome. That's
What kind of
great.
an operation? I mean, is 100 people, 1,000 people? I mean, how many people you got running around?
So our direct infrastructure, we're 14 in total, and that consists of 2 project controllers, which are estimators. They deal with all the bidding and negotiations for the front end. They put the package together. From there, gets released to the field, which is Steve, Director of Field Operations, in addition to the project manager stationed on that home. So in total, when we're running a project, there's a 3-person team at a minimum dedicated to it, in addition to upper management. We do all our own expediting in-house. We have our own in-house expediter. We're a full-service organization, you know.
So if somebody wanted to, I mean, these are homes that are currently available for the market. But if somebody came to you and was like, I have a property, I want to build a home, you'll do that for them too. I mean, it's not just spec build; it's custom everything.
We'll do it on a level that people don't experience out here with other firms.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, 3 people on one project.
Yeah.
Plus
amazing.
all the the builders, all the the contractors.
It doesn't stop. Well, good luck on the next projects. Vince, I know you're working hard. Get these 3 properties sold,
That's it.
and then on to the next one.
Yeah, these new projects that are coming out are super special. 84 Wainscott Hollows on 1.4 acres. You'll never be able to build that type of house again in Wainscott, south of the highway. It's on 1.4 acres. It's got a 2-sided reserve. Peter Cook is the architect on it, doing an amazing job on it. We have a digital brochure. What I'd like to say about Paramount is they're super organized. I mean, everything is already picked out. They're way ahead of it. It's not a knee-jerking reaction is the best way I would say. They're organized and they're way ahead of it when they do a project. So the hole has been dug. It's super special. It's elevated. And then Trelawney is another one that the foundation's in the ground. It sits at the end of the cul-de-sac. It's on 2.6 acres, tennis on both of them. Or actually, on Wainscott, I think we're either going to do pickle or padel on that property. But on Trelawney, we'll have a tennis court on there, and both of them are large builds. These are 10, 11,000 square foot houses that have all the bells and whistles on them. Any information you'd like to know on it ahead of time, they're not listed right now. You can contact me, and I can get you over a digital brochure on the property.
Get the inside scoop. I like it. That's perfect, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for opening the house for us. And everybody that's watching on Instagram, hopefully many thousands of viewers. I guess we'll see what it was. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll call that a podcast. I'm Andrew Dow. That's what's happening in the Hamptons.
Bye-bye now.